Hey, welcome to Clarksville Vibe the Show. I'm your host, Kevin Kennedy, local pediatric dentist here in town. We tell the stories of the people who make Clarksville the best place to live in America. Hey, thanks so much for joining and engaging with our online community. We're really getting a lot of support from you. We really, really appreciate it. Any feedback you can give us, leave us a great review, subscribe to anything. That way you get our content faster. It really helps us spread the message of the positive things that are happening in Clarksville and all the great stories that we're getting to be able to tell. Our show today is going to be fantastic. Got a super guest lined up for you, someone that I really respect, doing a lot of great things professionally here in our community, also doing amazing things personally, serving in lots of different roles. He's one of those guys where, frankly, you don't like to be friends with him because he's so amazing at everything. He makes you look bad all the time, and you can never really kind of climb up to his level. But he's a good friend, someone that I really admire and respect a ton. Mr. Eric Ellis of Ellis and Company, retirement strategist, planner, whatever you call those things. He helps people with their finances quite a bit. Eric, thanks so much for
thank you.
Jumping on with this. Clarksville native, born and raised here, several generations deep. So I know I'm really excited to jump into your story of people that may not know fully everything, and I know the audience is going to do that too. Well, let's jump right in. So one of the things that I really try to embrace is this idea of connecting natives to newcomers, right? There are natives, those among us like you and I, who are born here and have several generations deep roots here in Clarksville. And a lot of times we can make a phone call, make a connection, really quick at the snap of our fingers because we've got lots of relationships in place. And then there are newcomers, this growing, dynamic aspect of our community where people are coming here from other states, from other parts of the country, and they're really adding value. And we love that they're here. And, it's not necessarily stay where you are. We're glad you're here, glad to bring you in. But those of us who have been around forever, we're kind of connected to a lot of things you may not know about. And I think it's really special that we get to tell our story. So tell me a little bit about, where did you grow up in Clarksville? What was your story like kind of as a kid? What part of town did you grow up in?
Well, before we jump into that, congratulations on the show because this is awesome. Just getting to watch all these, it's so much fun and to see and learn so much about things that even like you said, after being here for a long time, there's so many things and people that I still didn't realize didn't know or were connected in ways that I didn't realize.
Absolutely.
But for me, I think we're going on 6 or 7 generations in Clarksville. I'm mostly my dad's side of the family, but I grew up across the river.
South of the river.
For the people who are here, you know what that means.
That's right.
So Montgomery Central, loved it out there. Have just loved growing up out there. And still, actually, haven't been out there for a long time, even though I'm still in town.
Yes.
Went out to watch a baseball game for niece. And run into all those people again, and it's like you've never missed anything.
And they've had some success. I think right now, as we're recording it, their baseball teams had a lot of recent success and are headed to the state tournament, which is not something that happens a lot for baseball around here.
I don't know. I played baseball for Central. We had some success. I don't know if we were one of the early ones. God, this is I'm going to date myself so much. It hit me the other day. We're coming up on 20 years graduating college, not high school. Oh, boy. But 2001, played for Central. I don't know the years, but we started winning. We started winning some stuff, and we could not get past Marshall County. It was rough. But my brother, we had a really cool dynamic with all the guys that played ball there. We had basically the older brothers and the younger brothers, and there was a ton of them. Jeff and Justin Bryant, Chris and Corey and Casey Gunner. There's a million of them. There really is a lot. And the older brothers couldn't get past Marshall County, but the younger brothers finally did.
They did.
And I think they got third in the state in 2003, 4 or something like that. But it was a blast. So that's where I grew up. But man, my family goes back so long. I just realized this the other day. I was reminded, if anybody remembers, now this is going to be past, I think, even our parents' generation. So they may not be our YouTube crowd, but still pretty cool. There was an old grocery store called Hilo on, I think it's University now, but it's used to be close to the corner of Crossland Avenue and Cumberland Drive.
Yeah.
And my granddad operated that for the longest time.
Wow.
But I can't remember when it shut down. But usually when that comes up, people are like, "Oh, no way!"
Yeah.
So then the Mobley side of our family, we had they had an old meat market that they ran. But yeah, there's a ton of different kind of
connections.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a barber, right?
Yeah.
So you're deeply ingrained,
Yeah.
Same people, you're cutting hair for the same people forever. When you run a grocery store, it's the same thing. My dad got his start sacking groceries at a Martin's IGA that's on Wilma Rudolph now, or, was on Wilma Rudolph, what's now called Wilma Rudolph. But like you said, when your family's deep here, you've got some ties that you're really proud of, that really, something you wear as a badge of honor, and you have a lot to uphold to, right? Yeah. And so you went on and finished Central, went to Austin P.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, graduated from
studied
Austin P.
business, finance.
Yeah, went to school for finance. I was one of the lucky few that I feel really for a lot of these kids that there's an overwhelming majority of people that go to college and don't know what they want to go for.
Yeah.
And I was really lucky early on. I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that and go to Austin P. Had a great experience there. Loved it. Got to learn so much. Like academics is really important.
Right.
But being involved in the fraternities and other organizations, how you learn how to interact and work with people to help accomplish things and work around things and work through things. I really took that for granted.
Yeah. It's because we were just trying to win a competition.
Yeah.
We win an intramural game. We didn't know that the lesson was we got to round up all these knuckleheads that forgot before we could text each other. It's like you're calling people before there's text messaging, or it's like the 4-button texting,
Oh man. And I remember,
I don't know what that was called.
Oh God. Yeah. The old, before we had the whole iPhone, the iPhone,
we didn't have the whole keyboard.
College. Yeah. Megan got it while she was in college, and we were like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It came up the other day, college, was talking about rounding a bunch of people up. You remember the old chariot race?
Yes.
Were we talking about this, or maybe been talking about it with somebody else?
I think we were.
But yeah, I had to be first of all, you had to build the chariot for other fraternities, and you had like a show. You had to compete, but then someone had to get in the chariot.
Yeah.
And
ride.
Yeah.
Just keep it intact.
So me weighing 87 pounds, that was the logical choice. And
87 pounds, 6'6". You're the guy that's in the chariot. We can carry you the furthest.
I was agile enough to stay in.
That's right.
Because
also, if the wheels separate, your legs will go farther than someone else's.
Well, it was on the old intramural field, which now it's nice and level, and they take care of it.
That's right.
But yeah, before it was a landmine.
Well, what it was is a mud pit.
Yeah.
Because when we first got there, that they weren't using it as the intramural field. They did that mud bowl for the first couple years and would just dump tons of dirt and bring a fire truck, and you do the mud bowl and you would just leave it there.
Yep.
It's really unfathomable to me now that they let us do that. And I don't even know how we paid for it. Honestly, I remember being in those conversations of how and where are we going to get all this dirt?
We'll figure that out
for
later.
One event. Yeah. And then we just left the dirt there for a while. Yeah. I don't know. Somebody figured it out after we left.
So, you just leave it there and just grass will grow on top of it.
Yeah. The lessons we learn as you're just, operating things and trying to learn things, you learn how to deal with people. Well, I know you had another experience around that time. You worked for forever at the Catfish House, which is Clarksville, one of Clarksville's staples.
Yeah.
It's like Johnny's, it's like Black Horse. The Catfish House has just been around forever. You served there forever. Man. So you had to pick up a lot of life skills.
Oh, big time.
Working there.
I feel like I really came out and got comfortable just interacting and talking with people, because I see a lot of myself in my oldest daughter, Allie, because she's very reserved and quiet at first when she's filling out a new environment. But once she gets a feel for it, and then you get a completely different person.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really happened to get me more comfortable to kind of be myself. Because you have to walk up and talk to strangers, and
that's your job.
Yeah. And you
make it the best you can.
Yeah. You get paid on if you're doing a good job with it. But man, there's so much to learn from there. So many people. Still have friendships that I still see with people. really miss Teresa Tisa. She owned and operated it for the longest time.
Yeah. That's Teresa Suter.
Yeah, Teresa Suter. She was. I didn't want to work there. I knew I needed to get a job. Like 14 or 15. This is one of the places that you could do it. And my parents were good friends with Danny and Teresa. And go to the Catfish House. No, like for months, absolutely the last place. I don't want to do it
because you told me to.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. But
I'll find my own job.
Yep. Yeah. And
here we are, putting the apron on.
Yep. No.
Welcome to the Catfish House. I'm Eric.
Bussing
How
tables.
can I serve you?
Yep. Washing dishes. But no, it was awesome. But not just Teresa. There's a ton of people there. I learned a lot from Danny. Danny wasn't there all the time, but he came in. He taught me a really good lesson about like wordsmithing. Like I was waiting on a table and he happened over here and I called something like, well, how do you cook the fish? And I think he planted this. I'm almost certain he did. Yeah. And so I kind of go through and explain it because I heard the cooks in the back call it grease. Yeah. So throw it in the grease. And he's like, don't call it grease. Yeah. Like, do you want to eat out of grease?
That's right.
No, it's cooking oil.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So that was a good lesson. Chris Sharon was a big impact. There's so many people, not only just at the Catfish House, but like I worked at Page and Taylor's for a long time. Ronnie and all the guys there. He's somebody who's made a huge impact in the community that I feel like has really fell under the radar. He is
very undervalued. Yeah. And so, for those of people who don't know, Page and Taylor's was sporting goods store for people our generation. Forever. That's where we got our baseball cleats. Yep. There was no Dick's Sporting Goods. Yep. There was really no store in the mall. Like you went to Page and Taylor's, you looked at their wall of cleats, you picked out the ones that you had, you hoped they had their size. You know, they made all of our baseball uniforms.
Yeah, I was going to say
they made all of our Letterman jackets. Made our trophies.
Yep. Hey, you're absolutely. I mean, I got schooled on that. The trophy plaque engraving machine. Yeah, what do you call it?
I don't know.
I
worked on a horse farm. So.
But no, Page and Taylor's was awesome because it was really cool to see Ronnie interact with everybody. That was just as much as the job as everything else. Is that he was such, and he still is very generous, and he gives and does so much for not only Clarksville National, baseball and other sports, but a ton of them, and has always done them, and he does it under the radar and doesn't probably get enough praise and just, I guess, praise that he deserves.
I want to see if you remember this.
No.
So, I don't know if you rose to the level of my athletic talent, but when you were in Little League, you had your Little League hat, you played for the Reds or the Dodgers or the Marlins or whatever it was. But then if you made the All-Star team, right, you could take your hat to Page and Taylor's and they would put 2 stars on the side of like your little emblem there. So if you play for the Braves and you made the All-Star team, I mean, the confidence in which a 10-year-old will strut into Page and Taylor's and be like, throw them 2 stars on there, sir. I'll stand here and wait for you.
Now that you say
my mom's paying, but it's all right,
Yeah. Man, I remember you just gave me a flashback. In my grandparents' basement, there is my granddad lines the walls like just under the top. He has little pins and he hangs all the hats. He's got to have 150 of them in there. And I know Ryan had some with those. I know he's got some with Central that have those. Yeah. Well, they're not mine because I didn't start making All-Stars until I don't know if I ever did make All-Stars, to tell you the truth, but Evan did, so they're going to be his.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk about a little bit about what you're doing now. So you finished at Austin Peay, studied finance, so now what you are doing is this is what's funny about your industry. Nobody knows what you really do. Like you're a financial planner, wealth manager, money guy, retirement strategist.
What does that mean?
What is your title? So softball question, loft it up to you. Give me, what do you do, actually?
Our industry is the worst.
It's the worst at communicating, not the worst.
Right. Oh, I love
Let's
it.
make that
and I would
clear.
not
That's
do
right.
anything
That's
different.
Right,
but they are not very good at allowing us to explain very good what we're doing. Like you were saying, financial planner, financial advisor, wealth planner, wealth advisor. Yeah. Are they all the same thing? What do they do? It gets really tough because there's not like a nice, cleanly defined version. There are on some, like my mom is a certified financial planner, and there's a big difference between that. CFP, and a lot of those other titles. But I find it just easier to explain what we do.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, well, the thing that gets most attention is the investment management. Like, that's the thing that's in the news. That's the thing that gets people excited and want to talk about. And it is something that we do, but that's one of many things that we do for the people that we work with. So we like to think that we create complete financial planning that's beyond the investment management.
Yes.
But that's still like, what is that?
What does that mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So a good example is we want to partner with everybody we work with to help them through all seasons of life.
Yeah.
Because all the seasons of life look very different, and there are very different things that you got to do. So, when you're 30 to 40 to 50, you're working and you're putting money aside and getting ready for retirement. Well, that plan looks a certain way. Then you've got when you're retired and you're no longer working and you've got to live off the money that you have saved. That looks a different way. Then there's a big part where you transition between the two. And then finally, last stage of life is what we call legacy planning, is you want to make sure you can still do the things that you want to do and live comfortably. But how am I going to get all these resources and assets that I've saved to the places and people that I love and care about in the most efficient way?
That's right.
So there's a lot of those things go in. I think probably the best example, because if I sit here and listed all the things that it involve, like, everybody would be asleep and nobody want to hear it.
Zone out real quick.
Yeah. But there is a good analogy, like when when someone wants to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah, not normal people.
Not normal people. I'm not planning on doing this ever, safe to say.
Yeah.
But you don't climb Mount Everest alone.
Right.
Like, that's too dangerous. There's too many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, you will die.
Right. So the first thing that people do is they go find a guide.
Yes.
They find somebody who's been there before, that is experienced. So there's actually a group of people, I think it's in Nepal.
Yeah, it's in Nepal.
Yeah. They're called Sherpas. And these are the experts who help hundreds of people a year make that journey from, to the summit and back safely. And they are experts at it, and they know what you're going to encounter. And because they've done it before, they can help you to make sure you've got the right equipment. Are you planning the right route? They have your backup among backup plans when things don't go according to plan.
Which we've heard a lot about recently.
Right. Yeah. When bad weather shows up,
that's right.
Strong winds show up. How are you going to adjust? Yeah. Do you need?
We already have a plan for this.
Right. And that's really not much of a better example than that, is that we're people's partner when it comes to anything financial planning to get them where they want to be, basically so that they can live comfortably and live the lifestyle that they want. Yeah. Live on their terms.
And allow their hard work to bless their family.
Yeah.
Whether it's opening up some more time or figuring out, like you said, efficient ways to share these blessings with each other. Yeah. I know that, as you said, your industry is so nuanced and complicated. Experience plays such a huge role in what you do. Having that education, the experience, to be able to sit down with somebody and say, yes, actually, I may not have done this specific example, right? But we've worked with enough people who have the similar goals or have goals that sort of align with yours, that we can help you. This is right.
That's what makes it so fun. I really enjoy problem solving and getting to know people and getting to know what's important to them. Yeah. And then helping them get there. Yeah. Because everybody looks different, and every financial plan that we create is unique. Yeah. Everybody's one of a kind. Sure. So their financial plan needs to be one of a kind.
So I know you don't have a favorite, but let's say that, what demographic of people, and let's say age range, is the most challenging, or the most that you're excited to kind of dig into? Is it, helping somebody that's early in their process and they've not really got a lot of formal steps in place, and we get to really create this masterpiece of a plan almost from nothing? Is it helping someone that's towards the end of their journey and they're, kind of untangling things and really giving them a lot of immediate value and fixing things? Is there a difference?
That's a really, really good question. They're all rewarding. Yeah. They're just rewarding in different ways. Thinking of some they're working on really right now. I'll share a little bit about it, but let me get off of it so I can clean it up here. Working with people while they're younger and creating those plans, it's really rewarding when you go through that entire journey and then you see where that they go when most of the time they don't even think that they can get there.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. The one thing that I was just thinking of, we've got a really, really kind of difficult situation. And, everything we work with everybody is confidential, and we got to keep it. So I'll just try to keep it really general. Absolutely. But we're working with somebody who's been diagnosed with a terminal illness that isn't likely going to be around much longer. And they've got a very young daughter. And it's just tough. It's she knows she's not going to be here for her daughter, but she's been really blessed with resources. Sure. So she wants to make sure that we're working with her to make sure that we're putting everything in place so that her daughter is taken care of, and at least that's not something that she has to worry about.
Right.
And this is a kind of a good example. Megan and I talk about her dad a lot, and it's very, very similar. We work with money, but money's just a tool. Right. It's there's nothing special about it, and people who focus too much on the money, chase it as if it's the source of happiness, are always going to fall short. That's because there's never enough to get them there. And this is what helps put it in perspective for me, because knowing that person's situation and many other people that we work with, and Megan's, she lost her dad at 40. He was 49, he wasn't even 50. But there's no amount of money on the planet that you would trade to have them back.
Sure.
So, but at the same time, not having resources can lead to a whole different
set of issues. Yes, or not having a plan can really lead to catastrophe.
So that's where we can really help, especially this person, to where they've got that covered. Let's take that and make sure that it's used in the best way, so that as life goes on, we're all going to have challenges, and her daughter's going to have some, but at least one of them won't be financial.
Yeah.
Well,
you shared a great story with me one time. Is the story of this horse racing study.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to summarize it, and then you pick it up. Yeah. But the idea behind the story is that, things are most often beyond your control. And sometimes when you feel the most confident in making decisions for yourself, your results actually don't align with that, right? And so they took these professional horse racing gamblers and they set up a study to where they could make gambling choices on these select horses, and they were giving varying different amounts of information, right? So they would, one racer was given 3 identifying parts of information, or 1 5
whatever
or 1 10, whatever they want. You pick.
But you can only be.
Yeah, you pick 5 things for this horse that you want to know. Do you want to know the father? Do you want to know their training schedule? Do you want to know what is their record in past races? What is their fastest PR? Yeah. You get all of this information that you want, and then you can take this information and make the decision on who you want to bet on. And what was interesting about this study, and the reason that I bring it up is because I think it ties into what you were saying, is they found that with increased information and increasing levels of confidence among the gamblers, it actually showed no real change in the results of their gambling decisions.
So, what happens is yes, that's very, very accurate. So the more information people have, the more confidence that they have, which leads them to make harsher or just different decisions, and think that they're overconfident they're going to be right, which leads to mistakes.
Yes,
that's the biggest that's it in a nutshell. Is overconfidence is one of the single biggest issues when it comes to personal finance.
And also fantasy football.
Everything.
Because
not just
this
finances.
season, I'm not a decade-long player of fantasy football, but I've gotten into it in a league that I play in, and this was the year I was like, these jokers are not going to beat me again. Like, I'm going to win. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to read the articles. I'm going to watch the content. I'm going to figure out who is so-and-so's sleeper pick of round 3 and this and that. How do you do this draft? And okay, well, I'm going to pay attention of, Devontae Adams did this last season, so he's going to do this season, and I'm smarter than these guys are, so I'm going to make the right choices. And sure enough, like, I went through my draft this year after, embarrassingly, really trying. I was really trying. and ESPN gives you like a little draft.
they'll grade
and
you.
out of 12,
Yeah.
I was like 11th. And I was like, not what I was going for. I mean, on draft day,
Well-
I should have thought like the algorithm in my brain would have produced at least a top 4, top 3 pick.
Dude,
but it is a fantastic example of when you share that information with me. I also am one to feel like I'm smarter than most people. Don't we always tell ourselves that like we're smart and we're not really smart, and we have overconfidence in our decisions. So I know that now is the best time to buy this particular asset class or entity or whatever it is, because I know, and I got the inside information from this Yahoo article that I read yesterday.
And I know exactly
what it is. And what's awesome is you've got such historical data experience mixed in with the relationship knowledge of the whole situation, where you can take a step back and say, no, I've really watched 1,000 horse races. I've done 1,000 fantasy football drafts.
Yep.
I've made 1,000 financial plans. And if I'm leading you in this direction and I'm going to be your Sherpa up this Mount Everest, I'm going to take you this route because we're going to get to the summit.
Yep.
Either the fastest, the safest, the most pleasant, whatever it may be.
Most important thing is
whatever your goal is,
there.
I'm the Sherpa that knows how to get you there.
Well, yeah, actually this is that's a great segue. So not only do you want to get there, but you want to get back. You know,
Sure.
Most people. You
want to get to the retirement age, but then you have those required minimum distributions that you got to figure out too.
Dude, yeah, I read this the other day. Most people, when they're climbing Mount Everest, die on the way down, not on the way up. And retirement is kind of the same way. You can make some mistakes earlier and then correct it because you have time. You can't really make mistakes later on in life, and you really need to. The earlier you have a plan, the better it's going to be.
Right.
But yeah, no one thinks they're average. If you ask everybody, "Are you above average?" Everyone says yes.
Oh yeah.
So we've learned over time is we have research and we create financial plans, but we know going into it that you're never going to get things exactly right, and for those that aim at that, it's kind of a fool's goal. It's a mirage that you're never going to hit, and even if you hit it, it's not as cool as you think it's going to be. And people think that you have to know the future and you have to have a crystal ball to be successful, and you don't. You don't have to know what the future holds to make money. Right. You just have to have a sound financial plan.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about personal life. So, native to Clarksville, a lot of people, which naturally means you get asked to do a lot of things around town. And you're not a guy who says no very often. So you get to be a part of a lot of cool things that are happening here. I know you're on the board of some of a local school. I know you've done some charity stuff as well. What are some things that you get excited about in terms of serving the community?
And I love getting involved in stuff. I've had to kind of regulate
might say a little too involved.
Yeah, sometimes I have to back it up.
But as I said to intro this episode, it's like you're the dad nobody wants to be friends with because you're such an amazing dad.
I didn't get
that you're always present.
Yeah.
You got everything. You make us look bad when we're around you. So even though you get to do all these cool things on the side, you're still killing us all.
No, I was about to say I got to rebut that a little bit because I try my best. It's not always fantastic, but I'm trying. I still get, we'll joke about some of those things on the side, but I don't always meet the bar on the dad and the husband level and work sometimes too.
Sometimes that bar changes.
Yeah,
so
I just try. It just keeps getting higher. And no matter how long your arms are, they still get higher. What did you just ask me?
I was like, what are you excited about being involved in?
Yeah. Oh, man. Chapel Hill is a big one.
Yeah. Which is a local school.
Yes.
K through 7 next year, adding 7th grade or adding 8th grade?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we had 6th grade this year, adding 7th next year. I hope that's right. Yeah. But, Sarah Hendricks asked me to be a part of it, like just before COVID. Yeah. And of course, we didn't know that. We're going to try to, if we would have known, hey, you want to try to open up a school in the middle of a pandemic,
no thanks.
Probably would have hit pause on that. But it worked out perfect. Yeah. It worked out fantastic. It has been one of the biggest blessings in our family. So when she asked, like, of course, well, let's do it. And I thought to myself, I can't be a part of this and be the board without sending my own kids there.
Sure.
Like, what message does that send?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we did that, because the teachers, Miss Warren, Miss Tucker, Miss Lindsay, all the teachers there, everybody that's associated with the school, they're just so happy and so just love-filled and do such a good job, and they genuinely care about the kids.
Right.
They might have bad days like everybody else.
Like everyone else.
But I can't tell.
No, yeah, that's right.
I mean, they do such a good job. I love it. I'm so excited to see where that goes, because they're building something special there.
Yeah.
Like the love and care and attention that goes into those kids. It's going to be those kids are going to change the world.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
awesome.
Another thing I do just real quick is the Big Fish. Big Fish
golf tournament.
Golf tournament.
Yep.
It's a big fish scholarship, but we fund it through a memorial golf tournament in honor of Mickey Fisher. He was a teacher at Fort Campbell and coach basketball and golf, and we put this in place to honor him.
Yeah.
But what we do is we provide scholarships to Austin Peay for local military families.
Oh, wow.
To go to Austin Peay.
That's awesome.
And it's a pretty good scholarship. It's $5,000 a year every year. And
that's intense.
Yeah,
that's big. It's a big chunk of change for people to.
I think we're coming up on the 12th year that we've been doing it a while too.
Wow.
But yeah, those are just a few things.
I really had no idea it'd been 12 years.
Yeah, me either until I saw the number.
5, 6, 7.
You're right. Yeah, but it's fun.
I guess that tells you how time flies.
It does.
Time flies for us. So one kind of last general broad topic, you're one of these people that Clarksville's home to you, but you've not spent your entire life in Clarksville.
Mm.
There was a season after you finished school that you went away to Colorado.
Yeah.
You decided to come back to Clarksville and call this forever home. So, for our audience that, may not know natives and things like that, what is it about Clarksville specifically that you felt like is something, as you were making this choice, if I can go anywhere in the world, I can stay where I am. I've got skills that are, transferable to any market there is. What was it about Clarksville that said, I want to come and be a part of helping create these plans for these people?
Yeah. Clarksville's special. There's just the people.
Yeah.
The people here are just amazing. And when we were in Colorado, the people, we got to meet so many people there and make so many great friends there too. Yeah. And they were amazing. But we always knew we wanted to come back and raise our kids here. So I'm glad Megan and I were on the same page with that. Yeah. So we were out there for a really, almost a decade. And I was really fortunate, like how we got there too, because I graduated with that finance degree, knew I wanted to work with my mom eventually doing financial planning, but I knew I didn't want to do it right away because it was really important to me to go out and earn my own way and get my own experience. And I'm glad that was the case, because she wouldn't have hired me anyway, because she wanted me to do the same thing.
That's right.
So after 10 years of being in Colorado, we knew we wanted to get back. Oh, this is such a fun story, how we found out we were going to have Allie. So we just wanted to come back because we knew when we wanted to have kids, this is where we wanted to raise.
Yeah, right.
And we've been trying for years to have kids out there, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we were seeing specialists, and we knew that we were going to have to start like something, I don't know what they are, treatments, to do something to help us to start a family. And around that time, I was up for a promotion that I've been working on for years.
Wow.
And I was getting really close to, I think, getting that formal offer, but hadn't got it yet. And right when that was happening, Mom calls and it's like, hey, it's time. Yeah. I need you to come back. It's time for you to be here and to help me continue doing what I'm doing here. And I was like, okay.
I'm almost at my goal here.
Yeah, I really want to see if I think I can do this really well. I want to find out. So thought about it, prayed on it a lot, and the right thing to do was to come home. We were going to be here anyway. Yeah. So we moved home. We're trying to move home, packing to move home, and Megan takes a pregnancy test, and at the day before we're leaving, hey, we're having a baby. So it's exciting. We're thrilled because we've been trying it for a long time.
Yeah.
But we found out, hey, starting a new thing in your career, moving, and you're having a baby all at once.
Here we go.
It worked out great.
Yeah.
That's how we found out about.
Well, I know we're lucky to have you back. Obviously, you and Megan just add a lot of tremendous value to our community. You're doing great things. I know you're helping people bridge the gap between generations. And so I know you'll be around forever, and keep adding as much value to our town as we can.
For having me be a part of this and sharing this.
Well, let's hit you with the lightning round.
Yeah. Oh, lightning round?
Yeah. All right. You said you're a baseball player. What was one pitcher in high school that you were nervous to go against?
Oh. Well, luckily, the ones that I didn't want to go against were on
your
my team. So, yeah.
Only in batting practice.
Yeah. Oh, and it was rough. So, Joey Sykes threw straight gas.
Yes.
I was terrified.
Yes.
You did not want to get hit by him.
Yeah.
Justin Bryant was a really good pitcher.
Yeah.
Corey Gunner was very good. But who I had to go against, gosh, I might be forgetting somebody. I guess that's why they call it the lightning round. But I remember a very funny at bat with Brian Smiley.
Yeah.
Did you ever go against him?
Yeah.
So
I played for Northeast, so kind of like you. Like I never really had to do it, but yes, he was super talented.
So yeah,
McKinsey and Smiley Jewelers. If you know who it is now, tell them that the tall, skinny guy that does financial plans was scared to bat against him in high school.
Well, so we're at the Jamboree, and he's just a good pitcher.
Yes, yeah.
And he works it into a late count, and then just out of nowhere throws a knuckleball. And if anybody knows what a knuckleball is, you don't know. Like if you're not, if you don't know it's coming, this thing's like dancing around like this. Yeah. And I completely freeze, and so
just watched it.
I still have this burned in my memory of him walking up to the front of the mound to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And as the ball's coming, just laughs at me. So I don't know if I danced or fell down, but that's still in my mind.
Thankfully now, as a commercial to you, that prepared you that when knuckleballs come along in your financial journey, you are prepared.
You can find a way to work.
You failed in high school, but now you got it all figured out. All right. What is on your YouTube suggested queue right now?
I saw it this morning. If I close my eyes, I can see it. Tiger Woods highlights.
Okay.
Marvel movie reactions.
Okay.
And breakdowns. I don't know why. I really enjoy seeing people's reactions to like surprises. Yeah. And then
I didn't even know those were videos.
Oh, they're super good. Yeah. And then there's the new age rock star or something like that. Is the guy who breaks them down because he knows all of it.
Okay.
And I don't, and so I listen to that. And then the last one is certainly going to be some old '90s like Bam Bam Bigelow wrestling stuff from WWF. Who thought that was a name that I was going to bring up today?
I didn't know that one. I could have guessed NWO. All right.
That's on there too.
You're in college and it's 2 a.m. and you need help with something. Who's the first person you're calling?
Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, we weren't super close friends, but I knew I bet I could count on you, because everybody else that I was really close friends, I don't know if I could have counted on them to get there. I'm going to have to think about it. Who's going to be there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. That's a really tough question. Man, I can't even think about it. Wade would try his best.
Well, I was going to
Wade Hadley would try his best. Yeah. He'd probably show up, but he'd probably be a little late. Jacob Crass.
He would have a good idea of what to try to do.
Right. Jacob Crass would be there. Jacob's like clockwork, so he's definitely dependable. I have other good buddies. Brandon Evans would be there. Sure. Clint would probably be there. I'm gonna start rambling people now. Yeah. But I'm giving people more credit or less credit than they probably deserve.
That's funny. All right. Your one spot in Clarksville for a date night with Megan. You got a sitter. You just get to randomly go somewhere. Where are you going?
Oh, man, that's tough. Well, Megan knows the answer, and I do too. But if it's dinner, we're going to Yada.
Yeah.
Love Yada on Franklin. Got great chicken tortelloni. But there's a lot of other good places too. It depends on what we're trying to do with the date night.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things that Megan helped us create a routine. And we kind of fell out of the routine a little bit in the last couple of months. Yeah. But every Wednesday is date night. So it depends on what we want to do. We might go, to horse feathers and paint bowls, or Legends Barbecue, or, it just depends on what you want to try to do.
But there's lots of opportunities, lots of cool stuff you can do, lots of neat things to try. Clarksville just growing with opportunities of fun things to enjoy.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I was doing. I was trying to get too political and answer all of them. But that's the questions one. Sorry. That's all good. Didn't quite get it.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, thanks. This was super fun.
No, thank you.
Dude, it was awesome. Great content. I know you added a lot of value. If you see Eric around town, ask him about some of the things he's doing. So I'm sure he'd love to spend some time and share some stories. Thank you so much for making it to the end of our episode. Hey, if you would, please leave us some feedback. Leave us a review of this episode or the show on whatever platform that you're consuming this content on. It really helps us grow our positive message. It helps encourage these platforms to share our message with people that might be interested in it and help grow this positive message of Clarksville to more and more people. I'm Kevin Kennedy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Look every Friday for new episodes that may be released. We look forward to having you engage on more of our content across the Clarksville Vibe platform, on all the social channels, and on the website as well. Thank you so much. See you next time.